Hi everyone, welcome to the third installment of the Ladies of STEAM. I hope you enjoyed the first two. If you hadn't had a chance to watch them yet, they are on our YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about Raye Montague. This book is The Girl with a Mind for Math. So, what do you think Raye did? Let's take a look and see. If there's something you want, but it seems out of reach, here's a story for you, a great truth it will teach. When you focus your mind, you'll succeed through and through, like one bold engineer by the name Montague. Let's see, so she was an engineer. There's a lot of pictures of boats here. In a state we call Arkansas, one winter day, a baby was welcomed, the girl they called Raye. She was bright as a star, super smart from the start. She was headstrong, this child, and not faint of heart. Yet this girl had potential. Her granddad was proud. He told her, "Work hard, you'll stand out from the crowd." Then something she cherished when Raye was just 7, he took her to see her first ship. It was heaven. Real submarine. Her eyes opened wide. "Who made it?" she asked as they followed the guy. "Engineers," said the man, giving Raye's head a pat. "But you dear, you don't need to worry about that." At the time, the man's insult went over her head. "No, you can't," were the words he had meant, but not said. It's not very nice. Engineering, thought Raye, and her life's dreams began. Except most people laughed when she told them her plan. "Stay strong," said her mom. "Use your brains. You'll be fine. There'll always be people who pay you no mind just because you're a girl and because you are black. Don't let them or the state of your school hold you back." Well, that's good advice. You see, schools in those days were what's called segregated. The black and white students were kept separated. "That's wrong," you'll exclaim. It was dismal, no fooling. And worst of all, white kids received better schooling. But Raye studied hard. She had grit, taught herself. She was gifted in math and read books by the shelf. When the time came for college, she knew what to choose. She'd learn to build boats. But she got some bad news. "Engineering's not taught to black students," they said. Her heart hit the floor. "I'll take business instead." She'd learn what she could, and she'd learn the rest later. The rules were unjust, but that school wouldn't break her. Raye finished with honors. Oh boy, what a smarty. She said her farewells. There was no time to party. "I'm off to a place filled with history's greats, the capital city of all 50 states." Now, finding a job, it turned out that took time. She looked and she looked. Raye was not one to whine. Then it must have been fate. At least that's what it seems. She was hired to type where they built submarines. Ooh, that's what she wants to do. She wants to build boats. She can be able to help. The Navy! That's right. Oh, but hold all your cheers. Ship designing was only for trained engineers. So she watched as they worked, and she learned every task, even studied computers by night in a class. Then her big break arrived. The whole staff got the flu. Raye did all of her work, and the engineers too. Her boss was in shock. "How? He exploded. From memory, said Raye, and with that, got promoted. Life would have been swell, yet that wasn't the case. Her boss treated her poorly because of her race. Many people like him tried to make her feel small. Raye just held her head high, and she outworked them all. What next? From the White House, there came a command. The president ordered a ship. Make it grand. And quickly, he added, well, that didn't fly. All those plans would take engineers months to supply. Here's the thing about that. When designing a boat, there are thousands of measurements one needs to note. All those numbers take math, and that takes some time. Ah, but Raye had been working on something sublime. Ooh. She took a deep breath. I can solve this, she said. I've come up with a system to do it instead. I'll draw the plans faster, she told him. Don't fret. I'll design the first ship by computer. No sweat. How long do you think that might take? What's your guess? Will it take her a month? Maybe weeks for success? Well, it took calculations and tons of caffeine. But Raye finished in hours, just over 18. Oh, so she's smart, she's fast. Her program, it worked. All the blueprints were done. The ship was constructed. The engineers, stunned. You did it, they cheered. And her boss had to say that her quick mind for math had, in fact, saved the day. The end? No, not quite. When Raye's ship was unveiled, only white men could go. Raye's invite, not mailed. Say what? You heard right. No invite? Horrible. In fact, some might say it was downright deplorable. Oh yeah, all that hard work was all her and she couldn't call. That's not right. Yet, Raye kept her cool, gave her best every day, and in time all her skills were applauded. Hooray! People learned of her work. Who's this Raye? They demanded. When they met her, they stared. They expected a man. Yes, that happened a lot. Many could not believe that a woman of color did all she achieved. Some even thought Raye was a maid. Sad but true. When they ordered a drink, she said, "Bring me one too." All her humor and wit served her well through the years, as she battled through the hard times with laughs and not tears. And that boss in the Navy, who'd been so unkind, made Raye the first woman to lead ship design. More honors would follow. Her fame picked up steam. Finally, at last, she accomplished her dream. That title she worked for? An engineer! Score! Now the world knows her feats. She is hidden no more. Raye Montague, engineer. So the lesson to all is don't give in, take a chance, rock the boat. If it sinks, you can swim. When a storm comes your way, hold your course and don't stress. Never quit, and like Raye, propel straight to success. And here's a close-up picture of the real Raye looks like. And there's a note to the readers from her. Dear reader, if you have a dream like I did, study hard and stay focused. Always remember that just because someone says you can't, that doesn't have to stop you. You might have to go in a different direction, and it might take you a little longer, but you can achieve your dreams. And there's also a Q&A with the authors. I'm just going to read a little bit. handling haters with humor. If there's one principle Montague followed throughout her career, it's that you can't let others bring you down. People say very negative things. If you let it fester, then they control you, she explained. You must always have a comeback ready, a humorous comeback that allows you to take back control of the situation. She recalled one meeting where a man attempted to order a cup of coffee, confusing her for someone who had been hired to wait on him, which happened frequently. Rather than get angry, she said, "I'll take one too. Make mine with cream and sugar." Another time, while traveling with her white colleagues during a time when many places were still segregated, she, she was informed she would need to find a room at a different hotel. "That's okay. I don't need a room. Just give me a pullout and I'll sleep right here," she told the staff. Since they didn't want Montague sleeping in the lobby, they gave her the only room they had left, a penthouse. And then I'll just read this other thing, anchoring a spot in history. Perhaps the most shocking example of racism in Montague's career happened not long after she completed that groundbreaking ship design. "I wasn't even invited to the launch," she said. "It was a despicable snub." But Montague remained confident that history would give her the credit she deserved. "I felt that eventually it would come, and come it did." Yet when asked about racism in our current society, Montague is realistic. "We have made some progress, but we still have a long way to go. I believe education will do it, but I still run into people who think that because I'm Black, I couldn't really have done all these things. So what does the Spitfire scientist say to all those skeptics? I say, Google me." So yeah, you can too. You can look her up, see all the cool things she's done, some other things she's designed. What we're going to do right now is I'm going to show you how you can make your own boats with things from around the house. I wanted to show you 3, but I had trouble finding the materials for one, which was pool noodle boats. So I'm just going to share my screen really quick to show you what that looks like. Because, well, it's not really pool noodle season right now, which is why I couldn't find any. So my computer's going kind of slow. Here we go. So all you have to do is cut off the end of the pool noodle, and you can just use a skewer, make a sail, and you have yourself your own little boat for that one. Okay, I hope you saw that. My computer was being kind of difficult. Okay, so now I'm just gonna scoot on over here. And slowly move this down so you can see my makeshift lake. And you can see my boats folding around. So the other 2 boats I have in here are an avocado boat and a sponge boat. So the avocado boat is that outer shell of the avocado. You clean it off really good and it will float. And when you break it in half, you're going to want to be careful, like this one that I have my cat in, my little kitty toy. I kind of messed it up. So when I first put it in and I put the cat in, it started sinking. So I had to put the cat in at an angle. So when you're taking it off, just be very careful that you keep it even. So let's see if I can get the cat back in there without it drowning. There. And that's also something I learned, like when I was putting in the sails in some of them, I discovered where I put the sail might make it easier or harder, or it could float or sink, especially if you want to put something on it. Oh, this little guy already fell. So you might want to like even out the weight. It does not want to stay on. There. So here's my other avocado boat. This one I did a little better. It's a lot more even around the side, so my little guy taking a nap inside isn't going to sink into the water. I was very careful. And again, you're going to want to make sure you cleaned it inside really good. And just a heads up, on our YouTube channel, I have a really delicious recipe for avocado brownies. So you can buy some avocados, make those brownies, and then use this outer shell for a boat. So then I have the sponge. Let me just squeeze that a little. So another thing when I was making the sponge, you can cut it up whatever shape you want, but I discovered you're gonna wanna put it this way because when I did it this side up, it sank. And so I made a sail. It actually looks more like a popsicle stick sail, but I did that using duct tape. I found that to be the best kind of sail because if it sinks over into the water, it doesn't get all wet like the paper. And I liked having this kind of in the middle. I found that was like for a bigger sponge, I found that was the best kind of sail. I mean, the best place to put it. Whoops. Where did I have that? Okay. And so this one I cut up a little smaller. I did the paper sail, which kind of got a little ruined when it fell over in the water. But you know, it's all kind of like a trial and error. You're trying to see which is going to be the best to float, what is going to hold my little guys as they go in the water, what's going to be the best kind of sail. I did actually end up putting some tape over it to help so the paper didn't get all messed up. And there we go. So yeah, that is it. I hope you have been enjoying these STEAM videos. I actually have one left, so make sure you tune in next week for the final Ladies of STEAM.